Oh. I thought you were someone else.
I wish I was.
Have you just moved in?
Yeah.
That's nice. I live just over there, so we'll be neighbors.
The golden age of British cinema produced many luminaries, but few stories are as heartbreaking as that of Diana Dors and her final husband, Alan Lake. Their tale represents more than just celebrity tragedy. It reveals the devastating cost of love, fame, and personal demons colliding in the most destructive ways possible. The rise of Britain's blonde bombshell. Diana Mary Fluke was born on October 23, 1931, in the industrial town of Swindon, Wiltshire, during the Great Depression. From her traumatic birth, where both she and her mother nearly died, Diana seemed destined for a life marked by struggle and resilience. At just 15, she enrolled at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, where her striking looks and natural charisma immediately caught the attention of film scouts. Her film debut came in 1946 with The Shop at Sly Corner, launching what would become a controversial but memorable career. The Rank organization quickly recognized her potential, promoting her through their charm school system, though, as film critic David Thompson would later observe, they struggled to harness her unique talents effectively. Quote, Dors represented that period between the end of the war and the coming of Lady Chatterley in paperback, a time when sexuality was naughty, repressed, and fit to burst. The early years of Diana's career were marked by both promise and frustration. While her blonde bombshell image drew comparisons to American stars like Marilyn Monroe and Jane Mansfield, British cinema seemed unsure how to properly utilize her talents. Films like Diamond City in 1949, where she earned just £30 a week at age 17, showcased her screen presence but failed commercially. Her frank assessment of some projects revealed her growing awareness of the industry's limitations. She later called Dance Hall a ghastly film, quite one of the nastiest I've ever made, though she acknowledged receiving good personal reviews. Despite these early setbacks, Diana's star power was undeniable. Her stage work earned critical acclaim, including Theatre World magazine's Actress of the Year award in 1950. But financial troubles at Rank led her to redundancy in September 1950, forcing her to rebuild her career from scratch. Love, manipulation, and early tragedy. Diana's personal life became as dramatic as any film script when she met Dennis Hamilton Gittins on the set of Lady Godiva Rides Again. Their whirlwind romance led to marriage just 5 weeks after meeting on July 3, 1951, at Caxton Hall. Hamilton, who would become her first husband and manager, was instrumental in crafting Diana's public image as a sex symbol, though his methods later proved exploitative. Hamilton promoted Diana primarily through sex comedies and risque modeling, capitalizing on the public's fascination with her platinum blonde looks and curvaceous figure. Under his guidance, Diana's career gained momentum, but at a personal cost. The relationship was marked by financial manipulation, with Hamilton systematically defrauding his wife while presenting himself as her devoted manager and protector. Their marriage was childless but tumultuous, lasting until Hamilton's death on January 3, 1959. The revelation of his financial betrayal left Diana not only grieving, but also facing serious monetary difficulties. This betrayal colored her approach to future relationships, making her simultaneously more cautious and more desperate for genuine affection. Following Hamilton's death, Diana's life took another dramatic turn when she met comedian Richard Dawson. They married April 12, 1959 in New York and had 2 sons together, Mark and Gary. However, this second marriage also proved unstable, ending in divorce in 1966. The failure of 2 marriages, combined with mounting financial pressures, pushed Diana toward bankruptcy and forced her to accept primarily supporting roles during the mid-1960s. These years marked a low point in both Diana's career and personal life. The glamorous image that had once opened doors now seemed to limit her opportunities. A love that would define and destroy. In 1968, fate brought Diana face-to-face with Alan Lake on the set of the television series The Inquisitors. Lake, born in Stoke-on-Trent on November 24, 1940, was a classically trained actor who had studied at RADA and was building a promising television career. His initial reaction to working with Diana was less than flattering, famously remarking, "Oh no, not Madam Tits and Lips," upon learning of their collaboration. But what began as a professional reluctance quickly transformed into passionate love. Within days of their first meeting, both Diana and Alan had fallen deeply, and they married November 23, 1968 at Caxton Hall. Their union produced a son, Jason David Dors Lake, born on November 11, 1969. For the first time in her tumultuous romantic history, Diana seemed to have found a partner who genuinely understood and supported her artistic ambitions. They worked together professionally, appearing in stage productions like 3 Months Gone, which earned Diana some of her best critical reviews since Yield to the Night. They also received an offer to star together in the television sitcom Queenie's Castle, suggesting their on-screen chemistry matched their personal connection. But their happiness was overshadowed by Alan's increasingly destructive behavior. In July 1970, Lake was involved in a pub brawl that resulted in an 18-month prison sentence, though he was released after a year. Upon his release, Diana welcomed him home by presenting him with a mare named Sapphire, demonstrating her unwavering support. Tragedy struck again in 1972 when Lake was thrown from the horse after it ran into a tree branch. His back was broken, and doctors initially feared he might be permanently wheelchair-bound. Though he recovered his mobility within 3 weeks, the accident marked the beginning of his descent into alcoholism. Diana later described the transformation with heartbreaking clarity. Quote, "Alcohol had unleashed a monster, uncontrollable and frightening." The final act. By the late 70s, both Diana and Alan were struggling with personal demons. Lake's drinking had severely damaged his once promising acting career, reducing him to small roles in low-budget productions. Diana, meanwhile, faced her own health crisis when she was rushed to the hospital with meningitis in 1974. Lake's reaction to the possibility of losing her, he fainted when told she might not survive, revealed the depth of his dependence on their relationship. In a desperate attempt to find stability, both Diana and Alan converted to Roman Catholicism. This newfound faith temporarily helped Lake control his drinking, but it also influenced a tragic decision. When 43-year-old Diana became pregnant with their second child, doctors advised abortion due to health risks, but her religious convictions and regret over 2 previous abortions led her to continue the pregnancy, only to miscarry. The loss drove Lake back to heavy drinking, creating a cycle of hope and despair. The 1980s brought new challenges as Diana's health continued to deteriorate. In 1980, they briefly separated when Lake's alcoholism became unbearable, but they reconciled after he promised to seek treatment. Diana was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 1982, and despite her illness, she continued working, appearing in films and maintaining her public presence with characteristic determination. But by early 1984, the cancer had returned, and she collapsed at her Sunningdale home with severe stomach pains and was rushed to BMI Princess Margaret Hospital in Windsor. She died May 4, 1984, at age 52. The aftermath. Alan Lake's reaction to her death revealed a man completely unprepared for life without his beloved wife. He methodically burned all of her remaining clothes. 5 months of mounting depression followed her death. Lake, now 43, found himself unable to cope with the reality of his wife's absence. On October 10, 1984, 16 years to the day since he and Diana had first met, he made a final decision. After taking their 14-year-old son Jason to the railway station, he returned to their Sunningdale home and entered Jason's bedroom. He ended his own life with a shotgun blast to the mouth. The double tragedy left Jason, just 14, completely orphaned. The story's tragic epilogue came decades later when Jason Dors Lake died on September 14, 2019, at age 50 in his Notting Hill flat. The cause was alcohol and tramadol intoxication. Now it's time to hear from you. What was the most tragic part of this love story? Let us know in the comments section below.